But from the weekend's footy, I was especially interested in some of the trial stuff. We had Winam. They are affiliated with the Broncos, which made it interesting when, I'll get this name right because I think I've butchered the name a few times in the past, Nathaniel Tangi Mataiti. He's an Ellerslie junior from Auckland, and he has been rising through the system with Winam, and I think he is part of that Broncos system, although as we saw with Kaius Fa'atili from Christchurch, who was playing for Winam last year, now he's gone to the Melbourne Storm on a train and trial contract. You never really know until they start to crack through to that NRL bracket, but Nathaniel Tangamataiti, he was part of the under 19 Meninga Cup and Hastings Daring Colts, which no longer exists, with the Winam Manly Seagulls, and he was part of a big old extended bench in their trial match against the Broncos. And I also see Sefa Roach Faimalo was part of that team, and I think he might be an Otahuhu Jr. I'm not too sure. I need to double check this on the fly. He's either an Otahuhu Jr. or a Maris Jr. He's a Maris Jr. So shout out to him. He was named at starting centre for Winam in that game. But you also had the Broncos with Josiah Karapani named at centre. And we've been talking about this over the summer. He left the Rabbitohs to go join the Broncos. And he was named at centre with Dean Mariner on the wing. And this highlights the depth, the Kiwi-NRL depth, because Karapani's from Otara, he's an East Tamaki Rugby junior, and Dean Mariner obviously from Auckland as well as a Maris junior. They are both centres. But to get game time in the NRL, you need to be able to play centre and wing. Like, that's how you're going to get your opportunities if you can cover both of those positions. Warriors fans, you're probably thinking someone like, well, Marcelo Montoya is a good job doer in that role at the NRL level, but then Ali Leotau is someone who I think can cover centre and wing at a pretty high level, and that's how he will get his opportunities. Karapani and Dean Mariner, they're competing for game time there at the Broncos as Kiwi-NRL juniors. Both were selected in that first trial, and I think the dude who's going to play more footy is the dude who can play wing and centre the best. Because there's a lot of centres who don't necessarily want to do those winger runs where you're returning from a kick and you've got to run it straight into a whole bunch of forwards. It's a very specific wing skill set, and I'll be interested to see which one of those two can kind of win the battle for game time as an outside back. They both probably prefer to play centre, but the Broncos, they got plenty of centres. I think Selwyn Colbo is going to play centre this year with Katoni Staggs, so opportunities are limited for those two. And then we also had the first round of Meninga Cup footy in Queensland. And I was specifically interested in the Redcliffe team because Tavita Nofahu from St. Kentigern College First 15, he's starting centre for Redcliffe Dolphins, Meninga Cup under-19s, and he was on a train and trial contract with the Dolphins, and he scored 2 tries in his first game of Meninga Cup over there in Queensland. So shout out to him. Looks very powerful, robust, and bit of a monster in the tackle as well. So that's a good sign. You always want your centres to be physically dominant, especially in defense. And that's what Tavita Nofahu looked like, which may have come after a summer with the Dolphins NRL squad. As I touched on this in the subscriber podcast last Thursday, the Dolphins had Elijah Rasmussen from Westlake Boys High School and Patrick Kailahi Takahiwai Jr. from up north, but also went to Hamilton Boys High School as their starting props. So the Redcliffe Dolphins, they got a bunch of Kiwi-NRL juniors in their system, in their under-19 team. I also saw that the Tweed dudes, a few Tweed players scored tries. Mason Barber from the Hokianga region, he scored a try at fullback. Ryder Williams scored a try. Maris Jr. on a development contract with the Titans. So I don't think every team was playing Meninga Cup this round, and we'll keep an eye on that as to what Kiwi-NRL juniors are competing in the under-19 competition in Queensland. As far as SG Ball goes, The Warriors bounced back with a good win over the Bears. And the dude, Motu Pasakali, keeps scoring tries. I think that Premier League football dream might be over for Motu Pasakala. For those who don't know, came from Tonga, played for Liston College first 15, and now he's the fullback for the Warriors SG ball team. And we think he was part of the Tongan under-19 or under-21, I'm not sure which one it is, football team. So watch out for Motu Pasakala. The Warriors won that game 48-12, bunch of try scorers, bunch of stuff happening there. Other try scoring notes that I did have were Pharrell Gray. Call you Pharrell because you're the truth. He scored for the Sharks again. He scored 2 tries for the Sharks last week, 1 try for the Sharks this week. He's from Wellington, and he's an edge forward for the Sharks. You also had Levi Gwyn Tuitahi, who was playing for King's College first 15 last year. Didn't play SG ball for the Balmain Tigers last weekend. Starting centre this weekend, scores a try. Shout out to him. And, of course, another dude who's scoring a bunch of tries is Josiah Alatini. He's a Hornby junior from Christchurch. He's in the Bulldogs system. 2 tries this weekend in their win over the Knights. That game also featured Josiah Latu scoring a try for the Knights. He's a Mangarees junior. And Sheldon Hayward scored a try on the wing for the Bulldogs. I think he's a Linwood junior. So lots of good stuff happening there. Lots of try scorers. Obviously, NRL trials are coming as well. And that's always interesting to see where the youngsters from Aotearoa fit in to their respective NRL systems. And we'll keep track of that over the coming weeks, especially next Thursday for our subscriber podcast.
Beauty. Do you have like a master list of all the Kiwi-NRL juniors, or do you just like roll through who went to what school and what as you do it, like just from memory? Because that's never not impressive.
I tend to write it out a few times. I usually go that way, just writing it out. Making sure I write the names and write the school, write the club. As we're like, the tricky thing is trying to nail down one club, one school, like whether it's the club that deserves preference, whether it's the school, but trying to just provide that basic information. I do have a list in a saved document, but I actually find writing it out is the best thing. So just write out, these are the dudes who did something this weekend, and then I have, each time I write the name, I'll write out the club or school that I am using to big up that grassroots organization, because most of these dudes did come from rugby league clubs or schools around Aotearoa that are producing a lot of rugby league talent. So that's always happening. And I mean, in the coming years, I might need to do I might need a book, because there's so many youngsters from Aotearoa rising up the ranks in the Kiwi-NRL pipelines.